because of what I said last week. Don't become Jewish because you're too wimpy.
God has no problem with the poor. There is nothing in Judaism that says that one can't be poor, and in fact, there's nothing wrong with being poor, and it says that God will protect the poor. He made this huge, one of the 613 mitzvahs, one of the 613 commandments in Judaism, is that the poor must be provided for. Everybody must give charity to the poor. There's nothing wrong with being poor. And Judaism doesn't, we should not, according to the Torah, we should not be exclusive in an elitist club, trying to keep everybody out if you can't afford it. And the same should apply to converts. We should not be filtering based on how much money they have. And conversely, we shouldn't say, oh, like Levi explained, like he didn't have any money and he had to get 2 jobs and he had to sleep on the floor and all these other things you talked about. And that's great, and I don't take anything away from you. You know, I think these are great things, but you're not required to, because nowhere does it say, conversely, that that one has to be poor. It doesn't say that one has to be poor to become Jewish, and it doesn't say that one has to be rich to become Jewish. It doesn't say any of that. So I'm going to. This is my point to you: is I was bothered by the fact you said it, and if you believe that, that's your opinion, but that's not Judaism's position. We have no problem if somebody. We're not requiring you from a Torah perspective to be rich. I'm talking from a practicality position that you may need to be rich, because unfortunately many places where there is a converting rabbi who's going to do your conversion, he has picked the most expensive part of town to build his house and to build his shul, and you'll need to live near him. And that's the problem. But there's no Torah philosophy or belief that this is the way it should be because we want to filter out the poor. Because that doesn't exist unless you can come on and bring it and show me where you found that.
Well, you said practically you'll need some money to do this because you'll need to live within walking distance of a synagogue. I think, who was it who said that common sense is the fifth Shulchan Aruch? That what is practical and what is commonsensical is part of Yiddishkeit, is part of Torah. So if you can't come up with the $1,000 for your tutoring, for your Beit Din, for your conversion process, you should go out and earn it or borrow it from someone else. I would recommend don't come into Judaism asking for handouts.
That you can say. That you can say, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so we covered that. Now,
and do you agree with me? Or maybe, like, we all convert for a variety of reasons to different things, but I think a lot of people, it is in the back of their mind that this will lift me up economically if I can join the Jewish people. They have an extra social net, safety net. They take care of their own.
I've never heard anybody articulate that.
No. Of course, they wouldn't articulate it. But.
Right. I mean, here's my experience. I mentioned this briefly last week. I have 2 experiences. One is, strangers or whatever will come to me on the internet or whatever, and they want to know, what do you have to do to become Jewish? Mm-hmm. I'm never gonna hear that stuff from them. But that doesn't mean they don't think that to themselves. Right. I don't know what they're. Right. I don't know these people from Adams. Right. The other one is the woman I dated who was in the process, and I can tell you that was not at all ever in her thinking. I know her well enough. That was not part of it. So I don't know. No. Is anybody moving? I never see that thing is moving.
No one's making any comments yet. So.
Okay. There was a question that was asked in last week's on this topic. There was a question asked in the chat room about boarders in a Fermi home. That what if a person didn't have any money, let's say, couldn't afford to move into town, where the shul is, so they is this camera on?
Yeah.
Both are on?
Yeah. Everything's going.
Okay. So they couldn't afford to move into a house. They couldn't afford to get to rent an apartment. Maybe there's no apartments in that neighborhood. Who knows?
Yeah.
So what about just moving in as a boarder in somebody's house? Let's say somebody who's already from, you move into their house, and you work out some sort of arrangement. Maybe they don't even charge you. Maybe they have an extra room,
Right.
and you go in there with that work. And I happen to know the answer to this.
And what is the answer?
The answer is absolutely. If you can find someone to do that, yeah. And the reason I know this,
Right.
my own family has done that.
Taken in garum?
Well, they weren't garum yet.
Prospective garum.
Yeah. I know that my sister, maybe twice, I'm at least once, because I was there and I met the person several times. He was with them for years.
They can carry their bags.
Their shoulder pads?
Their bags.
There was a guy in the news today didn't want to carry their buddy's shoulder pads. Made a big stink about it.
Right. There's Bryant.
Oh yeah.
Roy Williams. Something else.
No, yeah. So what am I saying? You can move in. If you can find a deal like that, that is prime. That's ideal.
Like a lot of husbands would like a shiksa on the side, and if they free rent and board.
So that's something to think about. Now in hindsight, I'm like, hey, why didn't I ever even think of that until that woman? You could move in with. I didn't even think of that.
In fact, ladies, you can move in with the rabbi.
Hey,
you got a special deal for you.
So
email him privately.
Right. The answer is yes. And then somebody said, what about after you've already converted? You could stay there. I mean, why not? You have to work out some. If you find a family that's willing to take you in, I think that's a win-win all around. Because the family gets a mitzvah for achnas. What do you call it? Achnas.
Yeah, hospitality.
Yeah.
Like being like Abraham.
Yeah, achnas orchim, but yeah, I guess
the ways of God.
Yeah, you're taking in guests. So
who want to come under the divine presence.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, and I think that's a great idea, and I don't even know why my brain is so thick. Why didn't I think of that with that woman I was dating? I should have told her, hey, why don't you move? I never even thought to say that. I don't know.
She wasn't living with you at the time?
No, we're in different places completely. Okay, next, moving right along. Somebody asked about internet conversions. I think it was somebody asked about internet conversions in the chat room, and can you do a conversion? Can you work with the rabbi or whatever over the internet, and then you just fly to the Beis Din or whatever? And I have never heard of anybody doing that. Have you? I don't think you can do that. That's not going to fly. I mean, it's a nice try. But I mean, if you can find a rabbi who's willing to do that, go for it. But at the present time, I've never heard of that. What's going to happen is the rabbi's going to say, you have to come and you have to move in my neighborhood. I can't imagine any rabbi of repute just saying, oh, it's cool, we'll video cam.
There's a great 3-letter acronym which is a foundation of Torah life, and that is LOR, Local Orthodox Rabbi.
Right.
So different rabbis will poskin, rule halakhically, depending on different areas where there are different norms. So everything in Yiddishkeit is about your relationship with your rabbi. If you don't have a Rav, you're not really following Yiddishkeit. Everyone's got to have a Rav who will poskin for them, who will help them, give them guidance on their observance of Jewish law and applying Jewish law to the problems in their lives. So everyone has to have a rabbi that they're close to, and that means physically close and not just internet close.
Yeah, that's well said. And also on that same topic about who the rabbi is, somebody also asked this question. When you convert, can you choose becoming Ashkenazi or Sfard? Right? And I think that's a really good question, and it's worth asking. The answer is, you know the answer, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. The answer is that actually you're going to have that choice yourself. When you become Jewish, and when you actually become halakhically Jewish, you will have a choice of how to align yourself, what group you're going to join, what set of customs you're going to have, and you're going to get to choose that, and that's going to be all yours. Normally, it's that people choose to do what they were brought in with because they go by what the rabbi who converted them was. So like if they converted with a Sephardi rabbi, they usually will end up taking his customs, just because that's familiar to them. And it makes sense because they're probably going to stay with this guy as their rabbi, and he's Sfard, so they can ask their Sephardi questions from him. So when you have a choice, because I think last week you said there was 4 in LA, for instance.